So, a very good afternoon and welcome to our new session of Pre-Med Pro. So, today we will start from erythroblastosis fetalis, how to prevent erythroblastosis fetalis, and continue with the lymph. Okay, so let's start with erythroblastosis fetalis and how to prevent this disease. Okay, I have given a short idea about how to prevent the disease in the last lecture, and today we will elaborately discuss how to prevent this disease and how this disease happens. Basically, these diseases are seen in the rural area where there is lack of doctors, qualified professionals. There we can see this most type of diseases. Okay, so now how to prevent? Give the topic how to prevent erythroblastosis fetalis. How to prevent erythroblastosis fetalis. Okay, so after the first delivery, I have said in the first pregnancy no problem happens because there is a placental barrier between the mother and the newborn. Okay, after first delivery, the mother is Rh negative. Okay, now comes in contact with the Rh positive RBC of the fetus. Rh positive RBC of fetus. So what happens when the mother blood comes in contact with the Rh positive RBC of the fetus? There starts the reaction of agglutinogen with the agglutinin. Okay, antigen antibody reaction starts. Now this mother develop anti-Rh in the memory cell. Okay, so if the when fetal RBC is positive, Rh positive. Okay, when the fetal RBC is Rh positive, so what happens next? So what is the solution? It requires the solution. You cannot change the wife or you cannot change your partner. Okay, so the solution is, now the solution. Immediately after first delivery, what happens? Laboratory made Rh, laboratory made anti-Rh, laboratory made anti-Rh antibody are given, antibodies are given, so that whatever anti-RBC, whatever Rh positive RBC of the fetus was supposed to come in contact with mother's RBC is destroyed already. Okay, so if this is not made, the erythroblastosis fetalis will happen. But here anti-Rh will destroy Rh positive RBC. Okay, now we come to the next topic, the lymph. We are coming to the next topic, the lymph. The lymph is also called the tissue fluid. The lymph is also called tissue fluid. The tissue okay, the tissue fluid or the interstitial fluid or the interstitial fluid. Now the interstitial fluid, the solute gets deposited. Now here let me draw a picture first. Okay. Now this is the artery, this is the vein, this is called the capillary. Now here the albumin is there, here is the albumin, it is the albumin. Albumin is a protein which is solely manufactured or produced in the hepatic cell, that is the liver. Okay, albumin is solely produced in the hepatic cell or the liver. Okay, now here osmosis happens. Osmosis. What is osmosis? The movement of the solution from the higher concentration to a lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so water moves to the capillary by how? The tissue fluid. That is, the solute goes down, here the solute goes up. Okay, now what happens? As the solute goes down and in the capillary the solute goes up, the tissue fluid as the blood passes through the capillary. जब कैपिलरी के अंदर ब्लड पास होता है, passes through the capillary, the blood passes through the artery. Passes through the artery से कैपिलरी जाता है. Some part of the blood gets filtered. Okay, as the blood moves from the artery to the capillary, some part of the blood gets filtered out. Okay, some part of blood gets filtered out. Now what happens? And accumulates around the tissues. Okay. These tissues known as tissue fluid. This fluid is called the tissue fluid. Now albumin proteins सराउंडेड बाय द आयंस डू नॉट गेट फिल्टर्ड आउट। एल्बुमिन जो प्रोटीन है वो आयंस के द्वारा सराउंडेड होता है और वो फिल्टर्ड नहीं होता है, ठीक है। एल्बुमिन प्रोटीन सराउंडेड बाय आयंस डू नॉट गेट फिल्टर्ड आउट ड्यू टू which solute concentration goes up in the blood compared to tissue fluid. Okay, and most of the plasma, and what happens, so as the albumins are surrounded by the ions, they don't get filtered out, and thus the concentration of the blood is higher than the concentration of the plasma. So what happens, and most of the plasma part, that is H2O, returns back to capillary, thus maintaining the blood volume, passing through the veins. So veins में जो blood का volume है वो ये maintain करता है, ठीक है, maintaining the blood volume passing through veins. So let us read it once again. Albumin protein surrounded by the ions. Albumin जो प्रोटीन है वो ions के द्वारा surrounded होता है. That don't get filtered out, due to which the solute concentration in the blood gets increased. As the solute concentration of the blood gets increased, because of what? The solute concentration increases due to the albumin is surrounded by the ions and they don't get filtered out. ओके, कंपेयर टू द टिश्यू फ्लूइड के कंपैरिजन में ब्लड का जो सॉल्यूट कंसेंट्रेशन है वो ज्यादा है टिश्यू फ्लूइड के कंपैरिजन में। तो फिर क्या होता है, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द प्लाज्मा पार्ट, दैट इज द वाटर, द प्लाज्मा मैक्सिममली कंटेन्स वाटर, सो मोस्ट ऑफ द प्लाज्मा बैक टू द कैपिलरी, प्लाज्मा इज रिटर्न बैक टू द कैपिलरी, thus maintaining the blood volume passing through the veins. Now what is tissue fluid? The tissue fluid blood, RBC plus large proteins plus platelets. Blood is colorless. The tissue fluid is colorless. Sorry, blood is not colorless. I'm sorry. And the tissue fluid is colorless. Acts as, these are the very important topics, acts as a middleman for transfer of gases, nutrients, etc. And important carrier of hormones. Important carrier of hormones. Okay, so it is also an important carrier of hormones. Now what happens, we draw a picture. So in this picture we see what? These are the lymphatic capillary. These are the lymphatic capillary What is the lymphatic capillary? What are the lymphatic capillary? The lymphatic capillary at the moment the tissue fluid enters the capillary. The moment when tissue fluid enters the capillary, now it is called the lymph. Okay, again it switches to the lymph vessel. The lymph vessel transfers it to the lymphatic channel. Now the lymphatic channel, what does the lymphatic channel do? The lymphatic channel transfers this into the veins, to the vena cava, to the heart. This is how the fluids are exchanged. Okay, this is how the tissue fluids are exchanged. Now come to the next point. The next point is the lacteal. The lymphatic capillary of small intestine is called the lacteals. So what is lacteal? The lymphatic capillary, of small intestine is called the lymphatic capillary. What happens? Fat absorption. Now let us draw a picture, simple picture of lacteal. These are the finger-like projection inside the small intestine. It is called the villus. These are called the lacteal. These are called the lacteal. Okay. Now come to the circulatory pathways. Circulatory pathways क्या है? Come to the circulatory pathways. Circulatory pathways consist of the circulatory system. Open circulatory system, attach a closed circulatory system. Open circulatory system and the closed circulatory system. What happens in the open circulatory system? Blood vessels poorly developed, not bounded by capillary, and open into spaces called as sinus. कुछ ब्लड वेसल कैपिलरी में ओपन नहीं होके कुछ ओपन स्पेसेस में ओपन हो जाता है, जो ओपन स्पेस को हम साइनस कहकर पुकारता है. ठीक है, तो और दूसरे बारे में कोरोनरी साइनस, द फ्रंटल साइनस, द मैक्सिलरी एयर साइनस, these are all the sinuses. Okay. Now the blood vessels, the closed circulatory system called the blood vessels bounded by capillary network. mnemonics. I'll give a mind map. Later I will make a mind map and give to you all. This will be very much useful. Okay, I'll give the mind map. Now Anthe, A-N-T-H-E. Remember it. Anthe, A means arthropod, N means non-cephalopod, non-cephalopods, that is mollusca. T is tunicata. H is hemichordates. And E is echinodermata. E is echinodermata. Okay. Now we come to the next part, the heart, the human heart, or the heart. Let's come with the heart. I will teach the human heart after that. It's very interesting. When we are in the first year anatomy, we have dissected the dead body. I have just hold the heart. When I first hold the heart of a human being, it was a marvelous experience. You know, guys. ऐसा होता है फिस्ट जैसा इधर पे रहता है और पूरा जिंदगी डिग 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 डिग. ठीक है. So one is two-chambered heart. Two-chambered heart. Three-chambered heart. And four-chambered heart. And four-chambered heart. Okay. Now heart. It has two chamber, atria and the ventricle. Okay. In three-chambered heart, two atria but one ventricle. A four-chambered heart, two atria, two ventricle. Okay. Now atria is relatively small upper chamber in all cases. Okay. एट्रिया वेंट्रिकल से बहुत छोटा है. वेंट्रिकल ज़्यादा बड़ा है क्योंकि वेंट्रिकल ही तो कंट्रैक्ट करके पूरा ब्लड को सर्कुलेट करता है ना पूरा. Okay. Now single chambered heart, sorry, two chambered heart, fish. It contains single circulation. Single circulation. Example of the three-chambered heart: amphibia and reptiles. And four-chambered heart: aves, mammals. In a single-chambered heart, okay, heart, O2 blood pumped out, gills, mixes, O2 in blood, okay. Now O2 blood goes to tissues, deoxygenated blood, deoxygenated blood through the gills. Here the blood gets oxygenated. Here the blood gets oxygenated. Deoxygenated blood is again pumped to the heart. This is called the venous heart. This is called the venous heart. Okay. Now In case of 3-chambered heart, what happens? Mixed circulation oblique incomplete double circulation. Deoxygenated blood comes to the right auricle. O2 blood ventricle, mixed blood circulate. Here double circulation is seen in 4-chamber heart. I will teach the double circulation in a single lecture, or 2 lecture will be required for a double circulation. Okay, for today we end up to here. Okay, in the next day we will start from the human heart. Okay, so please subscribe the channel and please share it with your friends, and please stay with us, and with single small step we will enter into a medical college for MBBS, not for BDS, it's MBBS. Okay, thank you.